Welcome to the Backpacking Podcast, brought to you by Outdoor Vitals, makers of Performance First Ultralight Gear. Ted Lasso here with you tonight with my good friend, Beetlejuice. Don't say it a third time, people. He'll show up. It'll be bad.
Oh, man. What's up, Ted? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I forgot to put my whistle on. Believe, boys, believe.
Have y'all been winning any games?
Well, last season I left. You know, I actually moved back to the States to be closer to my son. So, yeah, I'm not doing a good job. Better take his glasses off. It looks really weird that way. Yeah. So, how you doing, Jeremiah?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. Let me just paint a picture for the people that are listening on podcast. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
John, unbeknownst to me, had this entire outfit set up. I didn't see it until we actually went live. This is a live reaction. He has a giant mustache, Ted does, and some aviators and a hat. And he's got what's your team? Richmond, AFC Richmond,
baby. AFC Richmond.
AFC Richmond. I absolutely love the costume. He's got an AFC Richmond pullover.
I feel like I look more like the head coach for the Kansas City Chiefs right now than I do Ted Lasso, but, you know, it all works.
Well, Andy
this
Reid
mustache is awful, isn't it? It's not even on straight. Oh, it hurts. Ow.
No. I think it looks great, dude. I myself am indeed Beetlejuice. I'll show y'all my shirt. Yeah, a little peek there for you. Fun fact about this, my wife bought this shirt, and I said, wow, I would absolutely never buy that. I don't really wear purple. That's her school colors. I'm a rival school across town. And here I am, man, wearing this. Every time I wear it, I get compliments. Don't know what's going on here.
I can't get this mustache straight to save my life right now.
He's got a crooked mustache. Anyway, thanks everybody for joining us for Halloween. Happy Halloween.
Absolutely. Happy Halloween.
Before we get too deep into the show, I think we got a word from our sponsors here. Our title sponsor, Outdoor Vitals. They're actually having a sale this week.
They are having a sale.
I call this thing the Ghost Whisperer Killer, dude. Outdoor Vitals, makers of Performance First Ultralight Gear, and $70 off that you can get on this jacket. It is the Nova UL.
Yeah, it's a great jacket, man. It's a great jacket. I would say one of the key things is the down LT insulation that they actually have in it. It is made to withstand a lot of moisture and still keep its loft. Sorry, somebody just posted this. Go Taylor Swift's boyfriend. That's good. That's good. Yeah, it's a great jacket, and it really does. It handles moisture well. Really lightweight, and one of the cool features of it is zero stitch. Do you want to tell them a little bit about that?
Yeah, zero stitch. That basically just means that much less stitching, which means much less puncture holes in the jacket, holds in more warmth, and it's got pit zips. So if you do get too warm, you don't have to worry about the zero stitch situation. You can just unzip those pit zips, and it's got pockets that zip up. Great jacket. If you actually want to save $88 off this week, make sure to sign up and be part of their Live Ultralight membership. If I read that right, as long as you're part of that, you can save even more money on this. If you just want to go with the regular $70 off, that's awesome too. And I think John has something to unveil for us. I think I actually got a drum roll here. Let me know whenever you're ready, John.
I'm ready. Folks, we have promised for a while that we are going to be releasing a new merchandise item for you guys. And we are here to introduce our next design for our t-shirts, sweatshirts, and coffee mugs, Jeremiah. Here it is.
Drink out of this.
Give us the drum roll.
Second drum roll, everybody.
There it is, folks.
You want to read it for the listeners?
Yes, it just simply says coffee in giant bold letters with our logo in the middle on a coffee mug, and at the bottom it says helping backpackers poop 4 decades. And Jeremiah, this thing has already gone live online. So if people want to see that, it's right there on our sale site. We've got it in stickers, coffee mugs, sweatshirts, t-shirts, you name it. And they're live. Get a hand on yours right now. Get your hands on it. Give us your money. It'll be great. Help keep the podcast going.
Yes, thank you for all your support, and appreciate y'all buying a little merchandise here on the Backpacking Podcast, keeping the show going. Thanks to you guys and our great sponsors.
Can I tell you something funny, Jeremiah?
Yeah, let's hear it, dude.
Okay. So I bought this thing, and people who have lost weight, one of the things we struggle with is realizing that we've lost weight. Okay.
Oh no.
So I bought this thing, dude. This thing is like a sweat. Like, look at the sleeves.
Oh yeah, loosey goosey.
They're like super. I got an extra large because I thought that's what I wear. Oh no. I don't wear extra large, Jeremiah.
Oh, were you a large kind of guy?
I'm down to large now. So yeah. So this thing is like massive. it's huge.
Well, this Beetlejuice shirt is a large, and it could be a medium at my current weight. So
well, I think we're both. We should show everybody what it looks like on you right now, like in large size format picture here.
Oh, look at that, man!
Looking quite svelte. Looking quite svelte, if you ask me, man.
Yeah, I decided to throw the little Halloween lights around the neck just to give it the spooky vibes.
I like it. I like it a lot, man. I think it looks really, really good.
And if you all are planning to join in on the fun, dressing up for Halloween, you know, a lot of you are hearing this on Halloween Eve, but show us your pictures. Tag us on Instagram. We would love to see what you guys look like in costume. Use the hashtag BPP Halloween. What was it, John?
Packing Podcast. BPP Halloween.
Yes. Would love to see your all's pictures. Tag us in that. Fantastic, dude.
Now, Jeremiah, I have an awesome list to go through tonight to go along with our theme.
Have you been seeing these comments, by the way?
Oh, no, I haven't. I got to see these. Let's see. Oh, hey, we got to put this one up here. Don't run off the rails. He simply says, let me get the hashtag off of there for everybody. He says, howdy, J&J. Sorry I missed the meetup. Ready for some fall and winter camping. Hashtag bring on the merch. Oh, I'm seeing it. This is great. I need this. You're right. You do. And so does everybody else who's listening right now. Give us a lot of your money. That'd be great. Jeremiah, I want to thank you and all the Kentucky Wildcats for allowing Auburn notch 1 in the win column.
Oh, you are absolutely welcome. Delta Safari, it's all over the bluegrass of if this is Mark Pope's, I mean, not Mark Pope, but Mark Stoops, our head football coach, if this is his final hoorah. We're running the team into the dirt. They continue to give up. That's about all I have to say. They are 2-13 in their last 2-11 in their last 13 home SEC games. 2-11. Let that sink in, John. Sometimes I wish I was born not a fan of the Wildcats and I could bandwagon other teams, for instance, like Ohio State or
come on along, man. Just come along for the ride. They could be your Big Ten team.
You know, I just don't have. I bleed blue, not scarlet. Ironically,
actually, you do. I've seen you bleed, so I know it's red. I've actually seen you bleed, so
yeah. Well, you do got me there.
So there's that. Okay, so we got a great comment on here. I really want a picture of this. Loafer X, I came dressed as the weight JK lost.
Oh, yeah, I would love to see that.
We got to see that. Okay, man. So Jeremiah, I've got this awesome list I found. Awesome list I found. It's a list of hikers describing the creepiest things they've ever seen hiking.
Ooh, spooky.
Oh, this is awesome. I've even got some music to go with it. So while we're doing this, we'll have some music playing in the background here to go with it. But I want to read these to you, and I want to get your reaction, Jeremiah, and everybody leave comments as we're going through these. This first one is called A Man Watching from the Shadows. He says, I was hiking in Southern Virginia and came to a shelter. At this point, it was about an hour until sundown, and 2 other hikers had already set up camp and gotten a fire going. I decided to sling my tent up and make some dinner. I'm sitting there munching on my crappy rehydrated dinner as the sun is going down. As my eyes began to adjust to the darkness, I glanced over to the shelter and suddenly realized that I can see the whites of a person's eyes in the shelter. This dude had smeared soot from the fire pit all over his face and body and had been sitting in the shadows watching the other hikers and myself the entire time. I tried to stealthily let the other hikers know what was up and then got out of there.
Oh, that is weird, dude.
Who does that? Oh, this
Oh.
one's better. This one's better.
All right.
This
Who
one's
knows?
called a creepy entity. Okay? It says, this past winter, I hiked a very high peak with a buddy of mine and camped out overnight. Everything was fine the entire first day we were there. We had a great night's sleep and woke up early to hike back to the parking area. On the way back down the trail, my friend and I noticed that someone else had been hiking as well. About a mile after walking, I stopped and saw that my full name, first and last, was drawn into the snow on the side of the footpath. I didn't do it. Neither did my friend. It was snowing a bit throughout the night, and if it was drawn the day before, the snow would have covered it up. We got a bit freaked out and decided to hustle back to our car so we could get out of there. We finally get back to the parking area, and I went to sign myself out of the registry book. When I turned the page to where I signed in, I see that someone had scribbled out all of my information so you couldn't see it anymore. No one else had signed into the book besides myself for 3 days. I will not be going back there.
You know what this reminds me of is whenever I went up to New Hampshire with Mr. Backpacking with Jason, sir, and I would pee in the snow, and I found out that my special talent was writing people's names in the snow with my urine.
No joke.
I wonder
insane.
if I wonder what they used to scribble into the snow with. Was it human pee? Was it just an entity? Who knows?
I don't know, but I'm going to see if I can get back on here now because for some reason I disappeared. And hey, there I am. If you were watching online, I was just like this the whole time. That's kind of
Yeah, you
creepy.
look great.
It's kind of a creepy look. Okay, get this one. This one's called a sacrificial altar. Bushwhacking. A sacrificial altar. It says bushwhacking in Australia in the NSW. Me and my friend came across this weird platform looking thing made out of rocks. Later that year, the cops arrested some bloke on suspicion of the murders of a series of backpackers who had gone missing over the course of a few years. And at the sites of several of the murders slightly off in the bush were these altars, in quotations. Turns out it was the altars we found. There were typically no more than 300 yards from the victims' shallow graves. The guy who was arrested and subsequently convicted for the murders is Ivan Milat, Australia's worst serial killer.
Oh my gosh, how many people did he kill?
I mean, it doesn't say how many, it just says there were several. How about that, though?
Yeah, that's super creepy. And within 300 yards of the deaths?
300 yards. 300 yards. This is crazy stuff. It's so funny. Somebody goes, ooh, trippy. It's like I'm hearing JK's voice inside my head. Is John frozen? JK is frozen. I should have dressed up as Elsa for my costume because I was frozen. Okay, anyways. So the next one, a silent, unmoving man. When I was out exploring an old abandoned quarry, we found this dude standing, staring at this rock, occasionally twitching, but he never turned around. We were pretty creeped out, so didn't investigate and left pretty soon after. Later on that night, we found out that another friend was driving down the lane that runs parallel to the quarry and found a guy in a black coat standing in the middle of the road who wouldn't move. She was pretty freaked out and had to reverse all the way back up the lane in the dark because he was still there. Pretty sure it was the same guy.
Oh, man. That reminds me of my hallucination of the guy with the umbrella on the long trail. And then I got there.
Wait a second. Hold up. Did you hike the Long Trail?
Well, allegedly I did. There is some video evidence. There's not full video evidence.
I was
but
gonna
there
say
is
there was
some.
supposed to be some video came out, but I don't think it ever did. So yeah,
There's actually 2 videos that did come out.
that's true.
There was
That's
just
true.
no finale.
Okay, last one. Last one. This one is called A Bizarre Campsite and Altar. A few summers ago, I was canoeing in Boundary Waters with some friends. A few days into our trip, we found the creepiest campsite on an island. There was brand new abandoned camping equipment everywhere, and throughout the campsite, sticks with the ends charred had been stuck in the ground. In the remains of the fire was a heavily charred toothbrush, along with the remains of a wallet, glasses, papers, and some clothes. The creepiest part was near the edge where a single petrified moose had been wedged between some boulders and surrounded by charred sticks in a circle. We got out of there and as far away as we could before night. It looked like the scene straight out of a horror movie.
Oh, I don't even know what a petrified moose is. Does that mean the bones have like turned to stone?
I don't know. I guess it was either, it might have been frozen or like rigor mortis.
Ooh.
Probably
In a
smelled
wallet.
awful.
Oh, no idea, I assume.
Yeah. So how about those stories, man?
Yeah, dude, that reminds me of Kyle Hates Hiking. He does like the the stories of the missing hikers and all that on trip.
Oh,
Shout
yeah.
out to him. I bet he's in Hawaii right now eating Halloween candy.
Well, and my thing was that's kind of what I wanted to say was like, if you want to hear some great stories like this, all of them have actually happened. A great place to do that is go to Kyle Hates Hiking to his YouTube channel and check it out. You know, he's got over 500,000 subscribers now.
Dude, he's struck some gold on that storytelling, and he does a great job on it,
Yeah, he
man.
does.
Because he was doing similar videos of exactly what I would do, and swiveled a little bit, and now his whole life has changed, man. So happy for him.
Yeah, he's doing great. Definitely go check out his YouTube channel. Some of his old videos are hilarious, but these new ones are just fascinating. He does such a great job with those.
You know what I was just thinking? I think that first of all, this is the first time I've ever done makeup before in my entire life. Not only is it it's the first time I've worn makeup, but the first time I've done makeup. And,
We did a fantastic job. You look terrifying.
well, thank you. I was just looking though at my face, and I was like, my neck. I didn't do any makeup on my neck, and it is almost the same color as the white face paint on my face. I'm
Hashtag
so
ginger
pale.
problems.
Yes, I'm so pale, dude. But yeah, I think it turned out okay.
That's great.
This is really an episode that people, if you want to be fully entertained, you got to be seeing it, man. You got to be looking on YouTube or Spotify at the video version to really get the full effects.
I had to take this thing off, dude. It looks like
The
a
mustache?
wounded animal. It really looks like a wounded animal, but I couldn't like move, and it was like, I don't know. I'll try it one more time.
It reminds me. I don't know if you watch, but Joe Rogan's podcast. Sometimes he has Duncan Trussell on there, and Duncan Trussell is a fantastic comedian, but they always dress up and like it's random stuff. Like one time they did a furries episode, and they dressed up as furries. And
Oh, yeah? I've got one on my face right now.
I know you got the caterpillar mustache, and they last like, I don't know, sometimes like 2 minutes into the show, they got to take their costumes off because they're either so hot or you can't hear them in the microphone.
Right.
That was you. You had to kill the mustache. Look at you, bro.
You know, man, I don't think I'm manly enough to grow a mustache like this. You know?
Okay, I want to talk about my trip this weekend, but do you want to do a little more Halloween before we talk about the trip?
Yeah,
Or do you
you
want
put a really good list up here. I think we should debate a little bit. And I think we should let everybody who's listening debate as well, because you put the top 5 Tim Burton movies of all time.
Oh, yes, dude. And one of the best things about this is Bridget, my lovely wife, and Corpse Bride. There's a little Easter egg for you.
Oh, man.
She hadn't seen multiple of these Tim Burton movies. And if you all have not seen them, some movies that did not make the cut. Alice in Wonderland, Dumbo, um, Frankenweenie. I mean, what's the one with the peach? George and the Peach.
Yeah, the giant peach.
George and the Giant Peach or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
If anybody's seen any of those movies I've named, Tim Burton, when you watch something that he's created or directed, his stamp is on it. Like, I'll give you a couple of honorable mentions. You want to start there?
Yeah, give me some honorable mentions.
Okay. First honorable mention, Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. Now, this could have made the list. Maybe should have, but it is a musical, as are multiple of Tim Burton's movies. But I'll say doesn't make the cut for me. Have you seen it?
For me, it's number 2 on my list.
No way. Are you a big Johnny Depp fan?
I just like the story of Sweeney Todd. I mean,
Okay.
it's a story about a barber who would slit dudes' throats, drop them through this hole in the floor, and they would make them into meat pies that they serve the people. Like, people were eating their neighbors. I mean, it's like, come on. What a great story.
Yeah, see, that is a Tim Burton movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, the story's been around forever. You know, it's not something he created. So it's like,
Right.
it's a story. And I've always thought the story was hilarious. Oh, it's James and the Giant Peach.
James and the Giant Peach.
There it is right there.
okay.
James and the Giant Peach. We can always count on the alter ego of Darwin to help us out here.
Another one, Jeff Peters. Another one that did not make the list for me was Batman.
Number 1 on my list.
That's number 1 for you.
Number 1 on my list. Yep. 100%.
Well, I'll tell you what got me started is this weekend, I said, we're going to have a spooky weekend. And we went on a binge of movie watching and pumpkin carving. And I'll tell you one more honorable mention here. Wednesday. Now,
the TV show? The one on Netflix?
The TV. Yes. Now, he did not write it. And many of these he didn't really write. He kind of done recreations, like you were saying, to Sweeney Todd. But he did animate a lot of them. So Wednesday, that one's not animated, but great show on Netflix. And if you haven't seen it, it was like number 1 on Netflix, not even in Halloween season, for weeks.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They're coming out with season 2. Jen Ortega, fantastic. It's
My
great.
wife loved the series. My wife loved it. So
what's the new movie that she was in? Jen Ortega.
I don't know.
It's a Halloween movie. We just watched. I can't.
Dude, I'm just worried about my next Kansas City Chiefs game that I got to coach. You know, that's all I'm worried about right now.
Okay. All right, let me give you number 5. We'll run through the list here. Number 5.
I just got called A Brother from Another Mother by Jeff Peters.
Oh, you know you are.
We're
man.
tight, bro. We're tight.
Spirits.
Got this
Number
hamster
5
on my lower lip. There you go. Okay, keep going.
Corpse Bride.
Ah, yeah.
Corpse Bride, animated, love story. One thing I don't love about some of his movies, there's like real quick resolution at the end. I always assume that they just like run out of money and they're like, all right, you're gonna have to wrap it up, bro.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that one.
Is it funny when I smile? You can't even see that I'm smiling. It's like
I think it's funny that when you put the mustache on, for some reason you sound like Ted Lasso.
I sound like Ted Lasso.
I don't know if it's intentional. Or we're taking down Nate.
My smile looks painful with this thing. Like I'm looking at it going, oh my gosh, I've never grown a mustache like this in my life. I can't anyways, but if I could, I wouldn't do it.
Well, you got to do one of those bottom teeth smiles, one of the rare bottom teeth. They look better on me.
It looks a whole lot better on you than it does on me.
Speaking of Beetlejuice, the new Beetlejuice 2, a.k.a. Beetlejuice. I had to break it up because you can't say his name 3 times in a row without him appearing and, wreaking havoc. But Beetlejuice 2, if you haven't seen it, not as good as the first one, but fantastic. Whatever that, it's like Beetlejuice, but with a tiny head. I don't know the character's name, but there's a whole army of those in the new one. And for some reason, they're so cute. I don't know why, but great. And fun fact, Tim Burton actually played baby Beetlejuice, who you will see in the movie if you end up watching it.
Interesting.
I know you told me before the show you haven't seen that one yet. You and
No.
your wife are wanting to watch
Oh, we want
it,
to, but we haven't seen it yet. She really wants to. So
yeah, it's okay. Not much to add there. Nightmare Before Christmas comes in at number 3. This one, the perfect blend for somebody like my wife, because you know what she told me? Hey, while you're going out on your hiking trip Saturday, I think I'm gonna go do a little Christmas shopping. And then I came home and she had like Christmas decorations and ornaments and stuff. And I was like, babe, you realize that it is not even Halloween yet, right? Like you're doing the Walmart special here. You are coming with Christmas before we've even finished October. But if you are getting into the merry spirit, that right there is the perfect blend because half the movie's Christmas and Nightmare is the other half.
and they
King
ignore
of
the middle child every time. Poor Thanksgiving.
gobble, gobble, gobble.
Poor
Yeah,
Thanksgiving. The middle child always gets ignored, man. Out of the 3
yeah,
kids, it's always the oldest and the youngest. They're the ones that get all the fun, but that middle kid, and this time it's Thanksgiving.
yeah.
It's just
Middle
sad.
kid, right in the middle of the
Just sad.
sandwich, man. What can you do? All right, number 2, Edward Scissorhands.
That's a good
That my
one.
wife did not see.
That's my number 3.
Fantastic.
That's my number 3.
I wish that I could dress up as Edward Scissorhands, but I don't even think it's in the budget to get those scissor hands, dude. He's got nice for fingers. Great 90s movie.
Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic. It's fantastic.
And number 1, you've probably already guessed it. Due to my outfit, it is the original Beetlejuice.
Nice.
Oh my goodness, bro. Can't go wrong. So you sounds like you slightly disagree with my list. I would love to
I
hear
do.
people's comments.
I'm gonna tell you my top 5.
Okay.
My number 1's Batman. It has to be Batman. Like it has to be. You know, Keaton is Batman, and Jack Nicholson is the Joker. I mean, come on, great movie. So
Yeah, it can't be.
it's got to be number 1. Number 2 for me, I think I already said, was Sweeney Todd. Number 3 would be Edward Scissorhands. Number 4, Beetlejuice, and number 5, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh man, that one did not make the list for me, but that is a wait, did he do Charlie in the Chocolate Factory or
Yeah,
Willy
Charlie and
Wonka?
Chocolate Factory, whatever it's called. Charlie, whatever. It's a Willy Wonka. There's a factory and it's Charlie in it, and he did one of them.
There is a Charlie in all 3 Wonka movies.
He's there. But yeah, I thought his version of Wonka was great.
Yeah,
I thought the
think
Johnny
that,
Depp version.
Yeah, fantastic, dude. But what about the newest Wonka?
I haven't seen it. Is it good?
Yeah, but as all things, man, it's hard to beat the original, which I agree with you. I actually like the Johnny Depp version better than I do the 80s version or whenever the original came out. But also, I was a 90s kid, so that probably just comes with the territory.
Yeah. Bad pick, John. That was awful. Listen, Derwin. Derwin. You can have an opinion, but you can't tell somebody else their opinion's wrong. That's not right. You should apologize right now. Just do it.
I think that's what an opinion is.
It's an opinion, man. It's an opinion. You can't tell me I had a bad pick. It's mine. I'm keeping it. I'm gonna keep flashing his thing up here just to kind of pick on him because it's fun. But yeah. So there it is. That's my 5. You've got your 5. So if people want to put their 5 up, feel free to do that and tell us a little bit about what you thought. Doc says he thinks 1971 is the OG. So it is the original gangster.
Yeah. Well, Doc, I think he's a little bit older than I am, but not much. Maybe that was more of his culture. And
well, Doc's only like 35, so
Yeah, that's what I thought. He's only a couple years older than me, but
way before he was born. That's for sure.
And then also Woodall Trails said Beetlejuice does not make the cut. Blasphemy. Who thought that we'd be doing movie reviews on the Backpacking Podcast? You know, when we dreamt up this show a few years ago.
You see another one. Burton's best was Batman.
Batman, and he did another Batman, did he not?
He did the second one.
Yeah.
Didn't he do 3?
I didn't know he did a third, but I had to search high and low for his movies, like IMDb, Wikipedia.
And
Just Googled it.
the guy is that does all of his music, right?
No, who's the guy that does all of his music?
Danny Elfman. Danny Elfman does
No,
all of his music. And you want to hear the interesting thing about Danny Elfman? I just
yeah,
found this out
absolutely.
today. Just today I found this out. He was the
Alright.
lead singer for the 80s band and 70s band Oingo Boingo.
Yeah, I can't say I'm familiar with Oingo Boingo. Would I know some of their music if I heard a song?
Probably not, but you should look him up. You should look him up,
Okay, let me write that down. I'm not even. How do
Look
you
up
even spell?
Oingo Boingo.
Is it OON?
Oingo Boingo. Like, yeah, Oingo Boingo. You should just look him up.
You don't know.
They're like
You don't
psychedelic
know.
music. They're psychedelic music from
Okay.
the 80s. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that makes sense because he definitely has those kind of vibes on all the music, dude. That,
yeah. Yeah.
let's
So
see,
Danny
Burnt
Elfman, he
Orange.
does some crazy stuff. He's done so many movies at this point, it's ridiculous.
Well, I would put him right behind John Mann for my favorite, like I guess, music producers for movies. Then,
Yeah. Now,
right? John Mann,
yeah.
Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
I can't
John
remember what else
Williams.
he.
John Williams. Yeah.
Oh, John Williams. What did I
John
say?
Williams. I don't know, but it wasn't John Williams. But it's John
Oh,
Williams.
sorry.
Yeah. Now,
Well, I'm
listen.
not
I have to say something here for Derwin because I appreciate the apology. I was a little offended first, but I'm over it now. Actually, I wasn't offended at all. I was just having fun with you. But he says Gene Wilder version is golden. I don't dislike the Gene Wilder version. I would have loved to have seen Gene Wilder be in the Tim Burton version because there were some things that I really liked about the new version more than the old version. It wasn't so much about Johnny Depp versus Gene Wilder. Yeah. Here's one. Oingo Boingo had a big hit with Dead Man's Party.
Okay, I'll definitely check them out, especially if it's going to be Halloween vibes. Because if the kids are trick or treating, then I could put a speaker out there, and I like to have a little music in the background. They come up, and then I can go wah and scare them.
That just scared me just now. Like my mustache almost fell off.
R.I.P. Gene Wilder, man. He
Yeah.
passed away in 2016 at 83 years old.
Now, if you want to talk favorite Gene Wilder movies of all time, Blazing Saddles. I'm just leaving it at that.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know if are we allowed to reference that now?
I don't know. I've been watching YouTube videos of people of different ethnicities watching that movie and crying. They're laughing so hard.
Oh my god, yeah. Well, that's the thing with comedy, dude. If it's funny, then I think it flies.
Yeah.
It's the
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
outrage. Some people are going to get outraged at anything, but that
Well,
right there, that's a wild movie. Don't watch that one with your kids. You might want to watch that one by yourself, actually.
Here's the thing. Like, if anybody's gonna say something to tick people off, it's probably gonna be me. You're the nicer guy of us two. I'm the one that's just like, I'm gonna say it, and if people don't like it, well, that'll be like, well, at least Jeremiah's on there. So, let's talk about. You went on a hiking trip with our buddy Jonathan Woodall this past week. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes, and I don't know. I've been saying his name publicly here. I don't know if he wanted me to disclose it, but I put it in my video. If you look at the picture here on the screen, you have a photo of Jonathan and I out at an overlook in Beaver Creek Wilderness, which is right in my stomping grounds and actually his too. Jonathan's from kind of the Van Hook Falls area originally, and then lives here in town with me. But dude, we got to get out. We met at two different, we met at one trailhead and shuttled the vehicles. And the first stop was this picture at the overlook, and we got peak foliage. Jonathan said he would probably put it at 80%. But have you gotten out, John, and gotten to see any of the beautiful colors so far?
Yeah, but I was doing it turkey hunting on Saturday, but I still got to see some pretty bright colors on the trees. It was nice.
I'm wanting to take Bridget for a drive this weekend, but there's nothing quite like seeing it in person. Jonathan and I, we done this little loop, and at the end, I got this cute little picture of, this is a red spotted newt, and they're really densely populated, I would say, in like the Big South Fork area and Daniel Boone National Forest. I assume you've seen these all the time when you're doing the Sheltoe
Yeah,
trace.
and they're used a lot in witches' brews. So they always use,
Ooh.
essence of newt. So
And one thing I feel really bad about, if you're looking at this picture, how many of those little newts do you think you've accidentally squashed by just walking through our neck of the woods, dude? I mean, it's got to be dozens. I
maybe,
see
I
them.
mean, wouldn't you feel it though? Like, wouldn't there be some kind of feeling of something under your feet if you stepped on one?
Well, they're so small. They're like they're shorter than your finger. If like if you
Yeah,
don't
that's
count all of
true.
the tail, they're kind of small. You can go ahead and go to the next picture if you want.
Okay.
So here we have I actually had to climb down to the water to get this picture, slid down the hill, but I did it so you guys could experience the beauty that I got to. Crawled down next to the water and got close to it and tried to kind of capture what I was seeing, what I was feeling there. The autumn day, the beautiful yellows and oranges and reds of the tree and the reflection in the water. I feel a little bit bad because I think I could have edited this picture, but this is raw right out of the camera. Just
Yeah, it
letting you
looks
see
great,
what I
man.
saw. And that's a picture just a 180. If you look down the creek instead of up. This is a nice loop I should take you on, man.
Heck yeah.
My
Heck
neck of
yeah.
the woods. Let me tell you what happened, man.
Tell me what
So
happened.
y'all got to see, if you saw the pictures, a little taste of what the adventure looked like. But I kind of flubbed up here a little bit, and it's my fault. We got the stomach virus. I think daycare is not to harp too long on having kids and stuff, but I've been sick more in the past month than I have the entire year. That I've been working for 10 years as a public school teacher.
That's not going to
And
change anytime soon, Jeremiah. I'm just letting you
is,
know you're starting down a new road you never experienced.
is it the cesspool known as daycare? And I love our
It's
daycare.
not just daycare. It's the cesspool known as children who have no idea of spatial awareness.
Well, I'll tell you, I've taken off so many days off work. I've taken off 50% of my entire takeoff days in the last 10 years has come in the last month. That's that's how much I've not missed work over the last 10 years. And Jonathan and I were planning on going on this little trip, and then I got the stomach bug. And you know what? His kids are at the same daycare, believe it or not. I'd never met him before the Red River Gorge meetup. And Chicken Little Tricks daycare is baby virus breeding ground. So true.
It is.
So this same stomach bug that ran through the Stringer household ran through Jonathan's household literally a few days before. In fact, it is possible that his kids brought it to daycare and gave it to my kid, who gave it to me. I'm not saying that's what happened.
I'm totally
I'm
blaming
just
Jonathan.
Jonathan, let us know in the comments. I seen him comment on here.
Jonathan got it at the school he works at, brought it to the daycare, gave it to all those kids who gave it to their parents. So basically, Jonathan is a breeding ground for viruses.
He's ground zero for me.
He is ground zero.
And he
Jonathan is
also
100%.
he commented, his YouTube channel is Woodall Trails, by the way, and he commented that video is coming soon of the trip, and a video. My version is coming soon as well, as long as the company that sponsored the video. I emailed them today and make sure we're still good to go on the sponsorship. If we're not, you're probably never going to see that video, or if you do, you're not going to see their portion of it. But if they do continue the sponsorship, I 100% guarantee you'll be seeing the video. Anyway, back to the story. So, I have a little early poop talk here. I started vomiting.
We were all waiting for it. We were waiting for it.
Literally every hour, diarrhea, dude. This was absolutely terrible. I got up, weighed myself the next day, had lost 4 pounds. It was unbelievable.
At least you did. But here's the positive side of that, Jeremiah. Now you can wear that Beetlejuice shirt because of that.
Well, unfortunately, I'm fully recovered and now weigh 5 pounds above what I weighed on that dehydration day. So I didn't really know if I was going to be able to go or not, because this is a few days before and I had to take a day off work. And so I woke up Saturday morning and was texting back and forth with Jonathan. We're trying to decide if if I felt like going, and I decided to go. And I was like, I'm not worried about making him sick because he literally just had the exact same thing that I did.
He's
So,
apologizing right now, so just so you know, he's apologizing.
well, thanks, much deserved. But we decided to go. We met up and shuttled the cars, and we got to a point. Let me backtrack for a second. That meant that there was a very loose plan for this trip. He didn't really know how far the trek was. He didn't know how long he was going to be gone. And we didn't really talk a whole lot beforehand. We just kind of showed up, and then we got about halfway into the trip. And I was like, by the way, do you have anything planned for today? Is there like a certain time that you got to be back or anything? And he's like, well, we have something around 2. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know how to say this, but we still got quite a bit of walking to do. And it got to about 1:30. Look, Jeff Peters, double dragon, vomiting, and diarrhea. Yeah, you could say at some point you needed a trash can and a toilet at the exact same time. It was rough, dude, but it only lasted like 24 to 30 hours. Anyway, I had to send his wife a message with the Garmin because neither of us had cell phone signal. We're in the middle of nowhere in a wilderness, right? And I text her, and it takes a little while sometimes for those messages to go through because it's got to go through the satellite and then I guess send to them. So it took a minute to go through, 10, 15 minutes or so. And then I got a message back hours after, hours after I sent, and this message just said like, go ahead and go. I'll meet you there. And it was pretty loose on the wording. And then the message back, he said, we're about halfway there. Like I'm about halfway there. And yeah, Chicken Little Tricks. Imagine having to dig 2 cat holes for that one. Yeah, you would have needed 100 cat holes for this one. Just all lined up, bro. I'm talking once an hour on a schedule.
Sounds like fun.
It was miserable. But anyway, so I get her message back, and it's been a while, and it's past 2:00, and the message back just simply said, because his message said like I'm about halfway. Her said like halfway driving or halfway like hiking. And I said, dude, if she hadn't figured out at this point that you were halfway hiking, then it's too late. So I think it all turned out okay. I think I told Jonathan
he's still alive because he's commenting. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. His wife didn't kill him. I couldn't blame her if he did. I don't know what time he got back, but it was well after the 2:00 range. But a few highlights that we got to see: the overlook with the peak foliage. We got to have lunch at the creek. I had a soggy Sammy, which is what Jason's buddies call my Subway that I stop and pick up on the way. And then by the time I get
for hours,
it sits for hours. It was double toasted, but now it's like room temperature turkey. And it's all soggy. Here comes the mustache again.
I can't do it. I can't do it. Oh,
I don't blame you, man. But got to walk by the creek for miles. Got to go through a little cave area, the rock shelters. Waterfall was all dried up because we haven't had a whole lot of rain. And got to see the old road and bridge where cars used to drive. But now the only way you can get there is on foot. So nobody gets to see it but us.
That's
absolutely blessed, man.
That's awesome.
Fun time. Go ahead.
There was a little side note of comments going on here I thought was interesting. And if people want to keep commenting on this is going to be fun. Jeff Peters said, question, scariest movie ever. Blair Witch Project and Silence of the Lambs, saw both in the theater. Both scared me to death. Now, a lot of people who are listening or watching may not remember when the Blair Witch Project came out, because that was over 20 years ago, I believe now. About 25 years probably at this point. I think it's 25 years ago. But when that movie came out, they were doing something had never been done with movies before, and they were blasting it on the internet. But they were blasting it as though it was a true story. And it was the way they were doing it was like it was news. So it wasn't one of these things where you're watching these commercials for this thing and you're like, oh, that'll be fun to watch. You're watching it and you're starting to question, wait, is this real? Like, is this an actual documentary? Because I think it was $30,000 to film the entire movie.
Yeah, it looked authentic because it was literally filmed on a potato in
I mean,
1999.
yeah, it's
It
crazy. And so I remember
was
I didn't watch it in the theaters, but when it came out on VHS, so welcome to being old. When it came out on VHS, I remember renting the video, and I decided I'm gonna watch this in my apartment with all the lights off during a thunderstorm.
oh, what a great way to do it, man.
Scared the crap out of me. I mean it, and I think if I'd have watched it any other way, it wouldn't have bothered me one bit. But I had to set the scene and I had to do it the right way so I could actually get something out of it. And that movie freaked me out. So that's a great movie. Low for X said his scariest movie was Amityville Horror. That's a good one.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good
Can I
one.
give you mine?
Yeah, give it to me.
I'm gonna say Nightmare on Elm Street whenever you're 7 years old. That right there,
Yeah.
you talk about traumatizing. Try taking a shower at 7 and not thinking about how Freddy could just like his claws could come through the wall at any time. You like shampooing. Still to this day, sometimes shampoo my hair with one eye open just in case old Freddy's lurking around there somewhere and you're actually in a nightmare and he's gonna kill you.
Oh, and that song that the kids sang about Freddy.
1, 2,
Two
Freddy's
Freddy's
coming
coming
for you.
for you. Yeah, that was, yeah, and I remember one scene where this guy gets pulled into his bed and then a fountain of blood just comes shooting out of the bed and goes all over the ceiling. And yeah, that movie freaked me out as a kid. I'm not gonna lie. I was a kid when that movie came out.
3, 4, better lock the door.
7, 8, better stay up late.
Yeah, dude. Ooh.
Creepy. Derwin Off the Rails said, Silent Night, Deadly Night scared me so bad as a 12-year-old that I still don't watch scary movies. In that movie, a man dressed as Santa killed a nun in the shower in the first 10 minutes. I was scared.
Oh my goodness, dude. Yeah, I don't know if I've seen that one, but definitely some
You have not seen that one. I've seen this one, though, Arachnophobia. That was more of a
spiders.
comedy, though, I think, wasn't it? Was it kind of a comedy?
I don't know if I've seen it either, but I think some of those movies that we're talking about, like you said, you really got to set the mood. Like if you're going to watch Twisters, you want to watch that during a storm. If you want to watch
Right, right.
Blair Witch Project, you want to do it in pitch black.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, people are starting to comment now. Let's see. Okay, so there's people commenting on the Blair Witch Project, how scary it was. Still won't watch it. Came out in '99, so 25 years ago. Here's two scariest movies: Wrong Turn and The Cube. I
Oh
don't know
yeah,
either one of those.
Wrong Turn, if I remember correctly. And will you just entertain me and say Chris's last name?
Wibben Horstermeister.
Oh man, you're talented. Wow, I don't think I could have done that.
Well,
The
I've read
Wrong Turn.
8,000 comments of Chris's, and so I'm at this point. I've practiced it so many times. I'm down.
The Wrong Turn, I haven't seen The Cube, but Wrong Turn, if I remember correctly, it's basically like family, they take a wrong turn, but then they end up in like cannibal land, basically, like the backwoods, and it's people and they're hanging you up and eating you. And it's one of those like Rob Zombie style,
I was gonna say
like
The
kind of
Devil's Rejects.
Devil's
That,
Rejects, House of a Thousand Corpse.
yeah, scary movies, man. Oh, here's
Yeah.
one. It at about 8. Clowns, aw, heck to the gnaw. I mean,
Yeah. I watched that one
yeah,
as a kid too. Even the remake was good. I thought
yeah,
the remake was good, man.
yeah.
Pennywise.
Yep, and The
Yeah, you
Shining.
talk about.
The Shining, that's a good one.
Oh yeah,
That's good.
Stone
Let's
Ape
see.
Adventures, Clutch, The Shining.
Oh, yeah,
Ben
yeah.
McMillan, late to the party. Ben, we're just spitballing here on some of the scariest movies of all time. We'd love to hear yours if you got one.
I would say any commercial from Hilltop Packs would rank up there pretty high. Um,
Scary.
scary. No, I'm just kidding. The Shining, Red Rum, those twins. Yeah, that a lot of people are saying The Shining. There's another one there.
Classic.
Yeah, they said Chicken Little Trek said I stayed in a hotel in Louisville, Kentucky. It was just like in The Shining. So, oh, here's another one. Amityville Horror scared me so much when I was 10 that I still haven't bought a house.
I don't blame you. Do you know, speaking of Louisville, first of all, L's down, by the way. Second of all, speaking of Louisville, you know the hospital that's closed down there? What's it called? That they do the haunted house at?
No clue.
So let me see. Let me Google it here. Waverly Hills Sanitarium, or Sanatorium rather.
The sound of that sounds like something out of a horror movie.
Well, I mean, I won't go super in depth here because I know our audience, they're all over the US. Some of them are all over the world. But basically, it's a sanatorium that, unless I'm making a mistake here, it was tuberculosis was like their specialty. So they'd stick all these people there with tuberculosis, and it's basically just a place to die. But it's also, a sanatorium, and it's closed permanently. But every year they do a Halloween attraction there. They turn it into like a haunted house, and I think that this is like a pretty aggressive one. Like you have to sign a waiver, and it's pretty expensive to go in. Why did it close? Due to the success of antibiotics. So they didn't need to do all the tuberculosis stuff. It was 1910, two-story, able to accommodate 40 to 50 tuberculosis patients. Closed in 1961. That's one that, I haven't visited. I've been traumatized by haunted houses ever since I was a little kid. It always starts when you're a little kid, right? I remember I went into this haunted house, and I was with one of my older sisters, and we went in together, and I literally made it like 10 feet, and somebody like jumped out and scared me, and I ran screaming out the entrance, and I didn't go into another haunted house for it had to be till I was like 15, 16 years old. I mean, I was traumatized.
You know, my wife is terrified of clowns to this day because when she was a little kid, she went to a garage sale and bought the book It at the garage sale and went home and read it.
No way.
As a little kid. So, and to this day, she will have nothing to do with clowns.
And nothing to do with them. It doesn't have, besides like the covers, probably like It, and then maybe a clown scratching or something. But that book doesn't have any pictures, which means her mind painted the pictures to scare her so much and traumatize her so much.
And then when the movie came out, it looked just like she thought it would. Terrified her. Absolutely terrified her.
Well, Stephen King, dude. He's so talented.
Yeah. Here's some other ones. My favorite one is still Christine. That's a great one. Scariest movie of all, Durston Haters. To which Chris Wibbenhorstermeister, said it again, comes back with The Price of Durston Tents. Pretty scary. Only the Dyneema ones. The other one's actually a pretty decent price. Karen Washington said, Teacher Bestie and I were the Shining Twins last Halloween. Some math teachers copied us. Some kids got the costume a little too quick. So the kids knew the costume. Of course, you're getting an L's down also from Woodall Trails, which is cool.
Yeah.
New category, favorite monster movies. Well, this ought to be fun. And we're already getting those. They already started to comment. Old school Godzilla versus Mothra.
I'll tell you one underrated as a kid was King Kong. I mean, you're probably an adult. You're a little bit older than I am, but King Kong, man, that one was epic. If we're in the Halloween theme, you got any vampire ones that come to mind?
Dracula, Dead and Loving It, classic Godzilla, and Frankenstein is what Sean R. just said. I think for me, man, I'll tell you, I love vampire movies, and I watch them all. I watch every one of them. Those are like fairies. They're not really vampires. They're not vampires. Let's stop with that. I'm sorry. Vampires don't glisten in the sun, bro. Like, it ain't vampires. That's got to stop.
He looks like me, dude.
They're fairies. They're fairies.
About a
They're fairies, and they eat people. That's all it is. Fairies that eat people. They are not vampires. I'm starting to get angry. We got to stop. We got to stop with that whole Twilight garbage thing. Let's just get that out of there right now.
I'm sorry.
I really like the Underworld movies.
Okay.
I like the Underworld movies.
Right? Isn't that the chick? She's like the
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
the protagonist.
Yeah, and there's like the battle between the lichens, which are the werewolves, and the vampires. There's a whole series of them. If it's vampires and werewolves and stuff, I'm in. Like I watch those movies all the time. I
What
think they're
about
great.
Blade?
I love the best thing about Blade was the opening scene. Do you remember the opening
Oh,
scene of the first Blade? This guy goes with this girl into this like rave. He walks in
yeah,
and they're dancing and he thinks he's got everything going for him. Then all of a sudden she goes over and finds this girl and he gets knocked down. Then all of a sudden he looks up and the guy who's doing the music, the DJ, he puts his hands out like this and his teeth stick out like his vampire teeth. And it says
hmm,
bloodbath. And they just spray blood out of the sprinkler system on all these people. And he realizes everyone around him is a vampire. And he was there to
yes.
be eaten. I mean, come on. That's intense. That was a great opener. Great
Oh, I
opener.
totally agree. One of the best openers, actually.
Yeah. Oh, here's a good one. Bram Stoker's Dracula. Gary Oldman was awesome as Dracula. He was awesome as Dracula. So, yeah, there's a lot of great movies, man. There's a
Jeff
lot
Bridges,
of great movies.
he was in Blade, I believe. Wasn't Jeff Bridges he's like kind of Blade's partner?
No, that was Chris Christopherson, who just passed
Oh,
away this year,
oh, R.I.P.
which is really sad. I like Chris Christopherson. He was a
You know,
really talented musician too.
we went back and watched Blade, or tried to, and I was showing it to Bridget. She had never seen it, and she's a big vampire too, but she actually likes the Twilight stuff. You know,
She likes fairy movies. That's fair.
yeah, she does like fairy movies, like any magic, that kind of
Yeah.
romance. Blade to me did not hold up. Did
No.
not hold up after not seeing it for like 15 years. I was like, how? And I still hadn't remembered the opening scene and everything because, like you said, it is so epic. And there's so much. He's got a sword, he's got guns. Uh, so great. But then after rewatching it, I was like, I was going to go through all the Blade movies.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think those come out before Wesley Snipes had went to jail for the tax stuff.
Yeah.
That
Well, and
what
that was
crimes
Ryan Reynolds was in it, and him and Wesley Snipes didn't get along.
really?
Yeah, there's a whole story about that. Like, we'll need to get into that obviously on a backpacking podcast, but yeah, they didn't get along very well. So, yet they finally did, and he got him in the new Deadpool movie. Spoiler for people who haven't watched it.
Can we wrap with unless you got something else? I was wanting to give some people some unsolicited advice on what trail candy to take with them that's left over from their kids' Halloween stuff
Yes,
that's not going to get smashed up on trail. Is that
and
okay?
I'm gonna throw one in there that you don't have on this list, but
Okay.
yeah,
All right. Well, I'd love to hear it because I was just brainstorming these whenever we were
yeah.
sitting and eating dinner. So, number 5, snack size chocolate bars. Number 4, milk duds, but be careful, you could pull out a filling, and you do not want that on trail.
You know, we gave
Number
my daughter sugar daddies when her teeth are
uh-huh.
loose to pull her tooth out.
Did it actually pull it out?
Yeah, yeah, that was how I got her first tooth out. Was she wouldn't pull it out, so I gave her a sugar daddy. She bit into it, pulls it back, and the tooth was sitting on it. It's great. It's like flypaper for
Best of
teeth.
both worlds.
Yeah,
Yeah, and she got to have some sugar.
exactly. It was perfect for
Uh,
everybody.
Number 3, personally, I'm not the biggest fan, but if you like, fruity Skittles. Number 2, M&Ms, could be any peanuts, peanut butter, regular. We do not discriminate here on the Backpacking Podcast when it comes to chocolate. And then number 1, this is a lot of people's go-to energy snack anyway. Snickers, especially the snack size. If you're snagging them from your child's Halloween candy,
You know, Doc Watson's already said Snickers up here, so you know he's a fan. Now, I will say
nerd.
I will tell you for me, I don't do chocolate candies on trail because they always end up melting on me, and
Yeah.
they just aren't good for me anymore. So if it's me, it's gonna be like the fruit snacks, like the Welch's fruit snacks. Like a lot of
Hmm.
people give those out now for Halloween candy. The have you had the sweet tart ropes? Have you had those?
No, but it sounds delicious.
Oh man, that might be my favorite candy right now. I've got kids, so I haven't eaten candy in years until I had kids, and now I eat candy again because I have kids. But yeah, sweet tart ropes, man, good stuff. Twizzlers, Twizzlers are great on the trail. And anything like Swedish Fish, gummy bears, anything like that, I'm in 100%. Somebody said bring on the Mike and Ike's. Mike and Ike's are good. Mike and Ike's are another one that's really good. For me, I just don't do chocolate because it always melts on me. And then I've got this like goo all over my hands.
Yeah, that's the worst. And that's why I didn't put like Reese's on there or something like that. Because there's nothing worse than a smashed up melted Reese's on trail. And you're trying to like lick the leftover gummy chocolate out of the wrapper. And you're like, what do I do with this? Like nasty, like I don't want this in my backpack. I don't want it on my hands. My hands are dirty. You know, we had some really good ones in the comments too. Candy corn. That's a controversial.
Oh, here's one. Popcorn balls.
Popcorn balls.
I forgot about that. I haven't seen a popcorn ball in years, man. Those I used to love those when I was a kid. You just take all that caramel and you just ball them up and let them dry out, and those things were great.
Sour Patch Kids. I don't see a lot of those given out for Halloween, but those sound delicious on trail.
Ooh, at the meetup, were you there the night you weren't there? I had orange, the orange dreamsicles? Twizzlers has orange dreamsicle Twizzlers.
Oh yeah, I would try that.
Oh man. We sitting around the fire on Thursday night, we devoured those.
Let me say this, John. If you are going to bring this candy on trail, be careful because you might get the bubbly guts. And then you'll be like me and have to dig 100 cat holes in a row because that chocolate paired with the coffee, which y'all can check out our shirt again. Link in the description. Have some coffee. It helps backpackers poop
for decades.
But don't eat too much chocolate. You will get the bubbly guts.
And with that said, thank you guys for tuning into the Halloween edition of the Backpacking Podcast. Jeremiah, it has been good hanging out with you tonight, man.
Oh, the feeling is mutual. Happy Halloween, everyone.
Yes, y'all have a good one. Let me get this thing on here the right way. Let's send it out the way we brought it in.
The mustache, the aviator glasses, Ted Lasso, Beetlejuice.
We'll catch you guys on the next one. You just gotta believe, people. You just gotta believe. That's all I'm saying. Just believe.